Shigaraki and All For One are about to be unstoppable after this battle goes down between Shigaraki and the #1 hero of the United States of America, Star and Stripe. The end of My Hero Academia chapter 329 set up one of the biggest battles the series has had to date, and things are yet again going to rapidly change because it looks like we're at that point. Remember, it's been already about, what, 20 chapters, if not more, I think 23 to be precise, that the series has said it is entering its final stages, it is entering the grand finale, and this right here feels pretty damn grand to say the least because Shigaraki is all bossed up, riding a normal. We got Star and Stripe, #1 hero of America, reveal and first big battle, and on top of that, we got All For One waiting in the wings. On top of that, Shigaraki might already be complete at this point, probably is. It's gonna get real, people, but I don't think it's going to be exactly clear cut considering they're evil villains. Let's talk about it. My Hero Academia, baby. The greatness continues.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
So coming into this one, this big, massive battle between Shigaraki and Star and Stripe, you gotta ask yourself a couple questions like, okay, is Horikoshi going to allow this battle to go down the way you would ideally like it to go down, or is it going to go down a different direction? Now, Star and Stripe has just been introduced to the My Hero Academia franchise. We just got the reveal of her character, who she is, what she's all about. Well, not even what she's all about, really. Well, technically, I guess you could say she doesn't abide by the rules, per se, when it comes to, you know, saving people, so she's a true to blue hero, inspired by All Might, but is she going to be able to withstand the test of time, and is Shigaraki going to take the W or the L? Now, you got to assume that Star and Stripe just being revealed, it would be very disappointing for her to have just been revealed and then show up to Japan and then automatically take a L to Shigaraki, unless there's some underhandedness that goes about, because you got to remember that this is all planned out. All For One, the master strategist, he's like an army vet, so to speak, when it comes to battle, because now it's not Tomura just running amok on his own. Now you got All For One really calling the shots behind the scenes, and even within Shigaraki, because we still don't know to what extent does he have a hold over Shigaraki's body, so it potentially could really be, while it's Shigaraki's body, yes, All For One, whenever he wants, he can interject and be like, aha, it's my time, baby. And not to mention that Shigaraki already, his body has been manipulated with, and we still don't know to what extent. Like, is he complete? Has it been 3 days at this point for Shigaraki to fully be completed with his body, or what's going on there? So this battle is going to be very intense. Want to take note that the beginning of 329, the cover looking boss, Star and Stripe looking true to blue boss, and I love it. At the end of the day, Star and Stripe is straight up female All Might. There's no denying that. When she said in one of the previous chapters, essentially, my sensei needs me, I'm breaking all the rules, she meant it. But the chapter opened up with something very epic looking, with All For One bossed up, sitting in a chair, saying the time is now, things is about to get real, basically. With everything that's went down, basically, the villains that have escaped from jail and from prison have kept the cops off of his trail, and essentially he's almost saying checkmate, because he's like, yo, up to this point, on this little island nation, I've been able to outmaneuver them, and it's all thanks to just, you know, breaking out of prison and allowing these low tier people to allow me to do what I need to do. And their base, it was kind of interesting because it looks like they're in some freaking cave or something. I don't know where the heck they're at, but they're definitely in some remote location, because you see it's like an entrance to a freaking cave with some leaves or some shit that is just like covering the front entrance. But yeah, they're really dug out, hiding very, very well, where the heroes probably wouldn't find them, although I'm imagining eventually the heroes are going to be on their trail. The way the villains have been strategizing and planning everything up until this point, the heroes have been as well. You telling me that they're not going to find a way to put some type of tracking device on one of these people, or somehow track them back to the base? They're going to figure it out. And it's a real shame that the anime has kind of cut the importance of Spinner out, because even in this chapter, yet again, it is pushing forth that Spinner is very vital, very important, and also just in general, things are going to happen in a major way, in a major twist, because of Spinner. He's going to, quote unquote, spin the tail, but potentially not in the favor of All For One. one. Because we already seen in previous chapters that Spinner's morality is a little bit different. Like, what he signed up for isn't what's going on right now. He signed up for essentially almost a teenage rebellion, so to speak. He signed up for, I'm following that man, Tomura Shigaraki, to the depths of hell and beyond and back. And that's what he was, ultimately coming for. He didn't come for All for One to come and steal the show. So I wouldn't be surprised if something major happens against the villains because of Spinner, because again, this isn't what he signed up for, and I think he's been keeping an eye on All for One this entire time, opposed to like what all the other people were doing, strictly because he's trying to not only discover what he necessarily believes at this point and where he wants to go with it, but also he probably feels like this guy is too dangerous, even against our own people, even against the person that I'm following. Like, I gotta save Tomura above anything else. Because when we see Spinner, he starts saying like, yo, we could have taken the W by leaving the country. We didn't need to stay here, you dumbass. However, All for One reveals that, his plans are even more dastardly than we previously thought. His plans, his strategy, what he wants to ultimately accomplish is small scale if you thought it was just like, I want to beat some people up in Japan. You know what I'm saying? That's just what no, it's a lot more grandiose than that, because he reveals that winning this little match was just essentially a short-term goal, which is kind of crazy. Like, hey, beating all the big heroes in Japan was just, that was small time, not major. And then he also reveals that obtaining one for all is mid-tier. So if beating everybody in Japan, basically wrestling them into submission, was short-term, getting one for all is mid-term, then what the hell is he ultimately trying to accomplish? It seems as though he potentially wants, which is not the most, out-of-the-box thing, but essentially this is a superhero show, so it kind of goes together. He wants probably world domination. That's probably what he's trying to do. He's probably trying to change the world in his own twisted way, because he said he's planned ahead for a long life, and right now he's facing the toughest challenge, but potentially the greatest opportunity, which I don't know if I would call Star and Stripe a great opportunity, fam. Well, maybe if he's looking at her in more of a romantic aspect. Imagine all of this is just that One for All has like a raging diehard love and passion, and he's trying to ask her out, but he is dealing with social anxiety, so he's like, yo, I'm gonna defeat every hero in Japan that's gonna force Star and Stripe to come over here so I could confess my love. That would be hilarious and terrible. And All for One reveals something very interesting, because it was revealed, again, I want to say either in the last chapter or the chapter before that All Might essentially has a lot of friends around the world. We saw that there was different heroes that they wanted to come to Japan immediately to crush this All for One guy, this abomination. And All for One apparently has some friends around the world as well. Essentially, like, if he is, let's just say Lex Luthor, for example, All for One, essentially like the Joker's his friend. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, Hot Streak from Static Shock is his friend. He got friends all over the place that he could call on if need be. Because even though All Might was able to clean up Japan, the same can't be said around the world, which is very interesting, because we've been throughout the entire series of My Hero Academia solely focused in on what's been going on in Japan, and we never really got an international scope of things, of what's the villain scene like over there. We know since the beginning, up until just very recently, that essentially All Might had cleaned up crime. Like, it was just at a standstill, but it's kind of interesting that it wasn't ever noted that, well, if you're a villain in Japan, just move out of Japan and you can do your villainous dastardly deeds other places. But it's kind of sick, I ain't gonna lie. I loved it when All for One was basically like hinting that, well, since I got these friends all over the place, I can have these friends cause mayhem in their cities to keep those heroes distracted and out of my business, what I got going on over here. So to put it into perspective, basically what the politicians were worried about like, well, who's going to solve our matters over here, our local domestic matters, essentially, yeah, now they're really not going to be able to come over, because the Joker, Hot Streak, they're gonna cause stuff over there in their cities and their states and their countries, and essentially they're not gonna be able to come and help out All Might and everybody over here in Japan. And Star and Stripe is the obstacle and opportunity, because, well, first of all, Star and Stripe, she represents that America, we're not taking nothing, and she's not going to abide by all of the tricks that he's trying to pull of, yo, I'm gonna keep him distracted, like, yo, right now the Joker, you got something going on over there in America, that's cool, I gotta go help out All Might, I'll get back to you in a little bit. That's the difference between like Star and Stripe and some of the other heroes, is that no, unfortunately, they're gonna abide by those rules. They're gonna figure out, well, we gotta take Hot Streak out, and I don't know why I keep on with the Joker and Hot Streak. I've seen so many DC shows and Marvel and Fornev, your comic book hero nature is just disappointing right now. But we also got big confirmation that Star and Stripe is the strongest woman around. Essentially, Star and Stripe is the creme de la creme. Like I said, the female all might, strength-wise as well. And basically, All For One proclaims that he is gambling right now. Essentially, if he is able to defeat and steal Star and Stripe's powers, essentially the rest of this war is going to be a cakewalk. He'll be able to take out anybody. He'll be able to snatch up One for All and continue on his quest, which I ain't gonna lie, part of me feels like somehow, some way, not necessarily straightforward, but through trickery and manipulating, I think that they're gonna be successful in it, unfortunately, because I would love to see Star and Stripe kind of crush some dudes, but I kind of feel like, let's just say, for example, the fight begins, Star and Stripe versus Shigaraki. I feel like Star and Stripe is gonna whip him down for a good majority of the time, and then at the fourth quarter, all of a sudden something crazy is gonna happen. They're gonna trick her, and they're gonna ultimately be able to successfully steal those powers, which is gonna lead Deku to have to kind of maneuver even further, because don't forget, the stronger they get over there, the stronger and the more Deku has to refine his powers, because he's one of the last hopes, which I ain't gonna lie, like, if All For One is capable of getting Star and Stripe's powers, I don't know how Deku is going to be able to manage and keep up with them, just being honest with you. Like, that's from what it looks like with Star and Stripe, imagine like adding an All Might to the already incredible All For One and his arsenal attacks, and Shigaraki and the League of Villains, Dabi and all of them. Like, you're just making it overkill at this point. So a part of me feels like it'd be too much for them to get Star and Stripe, but then at the same time it would make sense. So I don't know, or maybe he'd be able to get partially some of the quirk. I don't know how it would work, but essentially I feel like they're going to be able to unfortunately get it, which again is going to be ridiculously bad for the heroes. And I'm not saying that it's going to be immediate. I'm saying that like maybe we're going to get a 3-chapter, 4-chapter battle where Star and Stripe is just kicking major tail, and then again at the very last moment, that's when All For One is going to strike. And again, there was more setup that I just feel like, wow, the anime is really going to probably skip over all of this, considering they didn't really focus in on Spinner in the anime, because essentially it looks like Spinner has a cult of people that look up to him. He was a nobody, and he has like, you know, an animalistic look of a quirk, and a lot of people, they kind of look up to that, like, yo, you were a nobody that you freaking look like a Ninja Turtle and you made it this far. That's crazy. So a lot of people, even some of the remnants of the Liberation Army front, are following him, are supporting him, are looking like he's our guy. So he has a little bit of a backing as well, and I feel like All For One is trying to manipulate yet again, but I don't feel like it's going to be successful with Spinner. I feel like Spinner, he has his own objective, and that's to help out Shigaraki against All For One. A part of me feels like, and I think it's been very much so foreshadowed, that Spinner don't rock with him like that. Spinner's just there because Shigaraki is unfortunately stuck at the moment with this guy. And you see that the Liberation Army front remnants are also just worshippers at this point of all of the League. They're like, yo, Dabi's dope, Toga's story continues. They're just looking at them like they're essentially somewhat of a symbol of hope for villainry. And it all rides on Shigaraki being able to destroy and turn everything to dust, essentially. Eventually we cut to the scene where Hawks and Best Jeanist is in the car and they're talking, and Hawks is kind of like, yo, it's kind of dope that she's coming over here, but I can tell that she's gonna get into some trouble, which again is just demonstrating that Star and Stripe, you know, she's really breaking a lot of rules to come over here. All Might must mean a great deal to her if she's doing all of this, whatever sensei, which I wish it would have been more foreshadowed, to be honest with you, of like, oh, All Might had more people that followed him opposed to just Night Eye. Like, that was really the only one that was pushed, aside from like the films that kind of hinted at some stuff, not really, kind of, sort of. And then we cut to Endeavor radioing in, yo, we've got a problem, lads, we've got a problem, because at the landing spot where Star and Stripe is supposed to land lies Shigaraki Tomoda waiting there, and we get that epic looking, it's so simple of a shot, right? It's of a skyline, clouds, and then of a little bit of a cloak with Shigaraki's hand with a little bit of a mark in the middle of it, but it looked amazing. It was a double spread that just looked incredible and just a little bit different and unique. I always got to comment on art when it's like a face, you know, close-up of a face, or a battle scene or anything like that. It's some clouds and a hand, and Horikoshi manages to slam dunk it in a double spread at that. Like, you gotta commend it, but also it makes me wonder, looking at the palm of that hand, what's going on there? What we about to do here, fam? Like, woo! Part of me just wants, because like Shigaraki's pretty much my favorite character in My Hero Academia, I just want to see him destroy shit, okay? I just want to see him take Star and Stripe and say, no more, it's over! And as she shows up yet again, just embodying everything you would feel from a female All Might, she's like, oh, such a warm welcome, you're free to do as you please, sir. But then immediately, that's the difference. Like, All Might, he would still have that smile even as he's telling you, yo, I'm about to kick your behind, fam. Like, she immediately goes from that to, yo, so what you want to do, fam? What are you trying to do? And unfortunately, it seems as though Star and Stripe is a little bit misinformed, because she's like, are you the villain that they call All For One? So the fact that she don't know who's All For One, I wish she would have just taken a little bit, you know, a couple moments. It's like, okay, the bald, clay face looking motherfucker is All For One, and this dude right here with the straggly hair and the straggly face is Shigaraki Tomoda. Like, it would have taken a few seconds to just look at some pictures, fam. I'm just saying, like, why would you go in straight up without even thinking? You must be very confident in your capabilities, and you must really keep things in order over there in the States if you're confident enough to not even find out who you're fighting. For all you know, you could have been going against a giant 10 million mile radius blob, and you're like, I'm here. Like, no, yeah, Shigaraki's about to send you back, baby, packing, and I'm gonna be waiting right there, like, baby, let me get your luggage. Come over here, Star and Stripe. Nah. Talk about down bad. And it's very interesting to note, well, first of all, again, the art looking awesome. I don't know, some people were talking down on Shigaraki. Look, he got the drip, fam. He got the scarf. He looks like he got a suit on. He's on top of a Nomu, which again, the drip kind of, I gotta attribute it more to, again, that he has that connection with All For One that kind of is a hold over him at that, which is possibly that All For One, whenever he wants, now he's just using him like, you're the vessel, fam. Whenever I want to take control, I'm taking control. But for now, we're gonna play possum, and I'm gonna just let it look like, oh, this inexperienced kid is going up against you. Because Tomoda says, good question, who exactly am I? And the chapter ends off setting up for Shigaraki Tomoda versus Star and Stripe, and oh my god, I can't wait. I think this is going to be massive and change the entirety of this war of My Hero Academia moving forward, because if All For One can get his hands on Star and Stripe, Deku ain't gonna be able to do much. Like, yo, Deku's been struggling already as it is. He doesn't have the greatest grasp of everything from One For All. He's starting to understand a little bit of it, but he's still got ways to go. Star and Stripe looks like she is no joke, and that's the #1 hero over there in the States. Crazy craziness. Very curious what you guys think about all of this mayhem. Do you think Shigaraki's going to take the W in the end, or do you think Star and Stripe is going to be able to put a halt to our tragic, destructive monster Tomoda? And how you think this is all going to play out? You think All For One's going to take over Shigaraki's body? You think Spinner is going to eventually betray All For One? And your overall thoughts and expectations for the My Hero Academia manga with chapter 330 and beyond. I am here for this right now, fam. This is what, let's go, Shigaraki. Part of me is rooting for him. Part of me is like, yo, what this Star and Stripe looking bae? I don't know. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and Shigaraki, send her back packing immediately. I'm here for it. Have an awesome one.
To